Welcome to another episode of Dad Can We Talk. I'm your host, Anthony Ray, and this is episode 53. And man, listen, man, we got a special one for y'all today, man. I got a man here with me that I've been waiting for a minute to sit down and talk with, man. But first thing first, before we get into that, I need for y'all to subscribe to the podcast, man. Go to Dad Can We Talk on whatever platform that you use to listen to podcasts. Subscribe to the podcast, man. Whether it be Google Podcasts, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, YouTube, whatever, man. Go and subscribe to the podcast. Continue supporting, man. I appreciate all my listeners out there. Everyone that supports the podcast, man. Y'all are greatly appreciated. And shout out to 6 O'Clock Studios where we are posted up right now. Shout out to my man T. Whitey for allowing us to be in this space, man. So, yeah. Follow 6 O'Clock Studios on Instagram and on Facebook. And yeah, man, I'm ready to get to it today, man. Y'all know how I do it at Dad Can We Talk, man. You know, we like to keep it real. We talk about a lot of different topics, man. And we're going to get it in today. We got a lot of stuff we're going to talk about on today. And I know a lot of people got a lot of questions about this man that I'm sitting down with today. And today we're going to hear his story, man, because I think what we do in our community a lot of times, we write people off without actually getting to know them. People might say certain things, do certain things, and we never, as a people, and when I say people, I mean individually, I think at times we see certain things and as individuals, we never go to certain people and really get understanding because we hear somebody say something. But I'm that type of person, you know. So as I seen this man on his son's his Facebook live, I guess you can call it a podcast, kind of. It ain't really a podcast, but he goes live on Facebook and on Instagram every night. Yeah. And
they call it reality.
Kind of like a reality show almost. I don't really know what to call it, but we just gonna say V Live on deck for those that do know. And for those that don't know, man, tune in. Go find my man on Instagram and on Facebook. And his name is Vernon Hayes. Go add my man and y'all tune in, man. It's pretty entertaining. We gonna keep it there, man. But yeah, man. So as I've been tuning in over the last few months, I noticed Pops, man. A lot of stuff has been going on the show, man. A lot of drama, a lot of different things, man, and a lot of people coming at Pops. You know, he says he's had a lot of controversial things to say. He's done a lot of controversial things. And for me, I thought it was just interesting, man, you know, to hear a lot of the things that he was saying. Some of the stuff I agree with, some of the stuff I didn't agree with. But even in that, I didn't take my disagreements and say, man, I never want to sit down and talk with that man. I say, you know what? I think it'd be interesting to sit down and talk with this man and get to know him because I felt like it was something more to him. You know, there was something more to what he was saying and what he was doing. And I say, man, I would just like to get to know the man more than anything. And, you know, he was talking about that word, man. You know, I heard him talking about that word. I definitely was intrigued and felt like, you know what? I would love to sit down and get to know this man and have a conversation with him, man. So that's what I did. I reached out to him and we got in contact with one another, man. And over the last week, man, we've talked extensively, man. And it's been enlightening. From my vantage point, it's a good man right here. You know, he has his flaws just like everybody else. You know, we all have our flaws. We all have our things that we're working on and we're working through. And I just believe that this man is passionate about what he believes. And, you know, sometimes I do think he do take it overboard, you know, but hey, that's a lot of people, man. So Hey, we're gonna sit down. Tonight, man, we just want to really talk about this thing, man. And I want y'all to hear his story because I've heard some of it so far, in the conversations that we've had. But man, very interesting man, very interesting story. Um, I can learn a lot from him. I believe that he has a lot in his story, between marriage and having children and his times in the military, all this stuff. I believe he has a story that we need to hear and things that we can learn about, man. So y'all know that's what I like to do. I highlight dads, man. I don't beat down my people. I don't beat down, other black men. That ain't what we do, man. That's not what we about at Dad Can We Talk, man. So we gonna uplift one another and we gonna sit down. We gonna have a real conversation. So, man, y'all welcome to the show, my man Vernon Hayes, aka Pops. What's going on, man?
Man, it's good to be here, man.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So my first question that I like to ask on the podcast is always, I like to take it back, man. I want you to talk about what your relationship was with your dad. Talk about that.
I had three fathers. My grandfather, I was raised by grandparents, and he was a preacher. And my brother Keith, we both have the same mother but different dads.
Mm-hmm.
And Keith was more with my grandmother, and I was more with my grandfather. He had a church in Starks, and I was always there with him. And he died when I was 8 years old. It was hurting. But my grandmother, she raised us. I was a choir boy then, and my mother, she lived in Port Richard, Florida. Married a man from Port Richard, and we used to go down there, school out, summer, Christmas, and I liked it because I had my freedom. With Granny, I had to come back and be a choir boy again. Mm-hmm. When I go down south, I'm a thug.
Yeah.
So I wind up, the environment I came up under, the village raised the child. Today, the village is at each other's throat. Mm-hmm. Better not hit my child now. But back then, those people knew each other back then. I don't care if it was all the way across town. They knew each other. Today, we don't care about each other. Mm-hmm. And that's why it's so crazy sometimes on Be Live, on deck, because I'm in the wilderness. And I got to act like the wilderness. And I've learned something. I learned y'all loved it. Mm-hmm. And it confused me. I was like, wow. I said, Lord, how is I'm going to get through these people? But I learned that you can go to college and you can get all these degrees, and God will still look at the worst of us because all these degrees has been brainwashed. It's God's foolishness of preaching that's going to confound the wise and the prudent. The reason why I act like a fool. There's an enemy out there looking for me and people like me. People that know history, people that know the word, people that know the truth. When I was down south, when I moved down south with my mother to do my last 2 years of high school, Gainesville is a chocolate city. Coming from out of Gainesville High, going down there to Gulf High in an all-white environment was pretty challenging.
Yeah.
Pretty challenging.
And what year was that? What years was that? Maybe what,
years 76 through 78.
Okay.
I graduated in 78. Well, the whole city was white. Where my mother lived, it might have been maybe 11 or 12 black families out there. And during the summer, they had this teenage club. And like I say, When I'm in Gainesville, I'm a choir boy. But when I'm down there, I'm around thugs. And I liked it. I liked it until one day a friend of ours got killed. And I started thinking about my life, you know. And that's when I went in the army, you know. I called myself running away. I only did 3 years. I've been told by spiritual advisors, man, that God tried to call me before I went in, during I was in there, and when I came out, and he couldn't reach me. It wasn't until I was troubled over a woman. I wanted to know what life was really all about. I wouldn't know what you call a nice guy when it came to women, you know. And I have some pretty wild experiences, you know. I didn't care about nobody's feelings, for one. I don't know if God liked it that or not, you know. But I believe, you know, looking at everything back then, that was God's plan for my life, to get me away from around my people and put me with those people, the white people. And out of all I was a player. I got 6 children from 6 different women, you know. I'm not ashamed to say I done had the claps 9 times, you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah.
And it made me not want to have a woman, but look for a wife.
Mm-hmm.
But before all of that came, I was troubled.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to know why I was black, why there's white people, and why I was hated. And then that's when the voices came.
Let me ask you this. So, okay, you said your dad died. Like,
My
did
grandfather
your
died.
grandfather
I
died?
never knew my biological father,
You never knew. Okay.
but God gave me maybe 15 years with him. But
Yeah.
I'm up in age now, I'm grown, you know.
Yeah.
I think he's been dead now maybe 10 years now.
10.
But I had 15 years with him. I think I was maybe 40, 45 or something like that. And I found out he was a nice guy.
Mm-hmm.
And because of my experience, man, in my life, I didn't blame him for not being in it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because I had a stepfather my mother married that took his place.
Yeah.
We don't do that anymore, already made families. But man, he took on 7 boys and 3 girls.
Dang.
Now, one of those boys was his. That mother died, and my mom raised him from diapers, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And he was a homemonger, you know. He remarried, and he's a different man now. See, sometimes, right, when someone died that's close to you and you love so much, that brings on change with you.
Mm-hmm.
You're gonna do better than you was when they was living, and that's what he's doing with his new wife, you know. And he's trying to hold his family together, you know.
Mm-hmm.
I had a lot of, I can say, knowing how to raise a family because I was sheltered.
Mm-hmm.
I was sheltered when I was a child with my grandparents. When I moved down with my mother, I was sheltered. You know, I know the father's role because by watching my grandfather, my stepdad,
Mm-hmm.
and when my dad married his wife, um, he was a father figure,
Yeah.
you know. He had six boys,
Mm.
and it's funny, you know, the father is, uh, the father make you whole. I don't care uh, if you all got different mothers, but you whole. But we say that the one that's come out of the basket is whole. But if you got different fathers, you have.
Mm.
And I find the funniest thing that I'm talking about is all my brothers, we are just alike.
Mm.
We act alike. We think alike because of the man's genes,
Yeah.
you know? And I was reading Ecclesiastes 11:4, 11:5, and it's we don't know the way of the spirit or how the bones grow in the woman that is with child.
Mm-hmm.
We still don't know the ways of God. Well, I learned who the spirit is and who the flesh is. And the mystery about all of this, which is Revelation chapter 1, verse 20, is that the stars that's falling on the earth are angels. And the way the bones grow, her body comes from a bone. She already existed because she's a spirit just like the man is. But God gave her a different body to be a producer and a reproducer of flesh and blood because God is still blowing in our nostrils this spirit, which Hebrew 1:7 say they made from an angel. And born again is very important. It's very important. This will bring in the brotherhood once we know where we come from and aliens down here and what purpose is here in order to return, but not return in death, but return in life. All right. We have an enemy, you know. I went to school with them. I know how they think, and I'm in hiding. Now, he mentioned on V Live Deck some things he agreed with, some things he didn't agree with, but it had to be an act. I can't let these people know what y'all fixing to know right now at this moment. That it is more to pops than I'm showing. You know,
Mm-hmm.
we need brotherhood,
Straight up.
and not just black man, white man, Chinese man,
Straight
all
up.
men.
Straight up.
Okay,
Straight up.
and Israel did come out of the black race, but not all that's in Israel is of Israel.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to explain that. Jacob's name was changed to Israel from Jacob.
Mm-hmm.
In Romans chapter 9, verse 6, y'all need to read this. There's bad in all races.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? And we mark for death for one thing. And they are killing us because we don't have a problem with killing one another. And they're scared to death of us. You know, it don't give them an excuse, you know. But we got to stop killing one another, you know. If you look, this is the thought. This is where I look at it. If you look like me and I don't care nothing about myself, I'll kill you. That just seems like that's the way we are, but we're more than what we think we are.
But why you think we like that though? Like if just from the outside looking in, like do you think that there are uh things that go on in the community that because of the positions that a lot of people are in, you think that's
I
like
think it's the churches.
mm-hmm.
I think it's the churches. You know?
So when you say the churches, what you think the churches ain't teaching people?
I think they are not teaching. I know they're not teaching the Bible, and they need to stop following the white man. Let me tell y'all something. Right there in the first book, Genesis, Moses wrote things, and the translator, which is the white man, which is the Gentiles, and they told us that if you're not a Jew, you're a Gentile, and that's what the black churches teaches. But if you go over to Genesis chapter 10, the three sons that replenished the earth, verse 2 through 5 is Japheth's seed. Verse 6 through 20 is Ham's seed. And verse 22 through 31 is Shem's seed. And those last verses, 5, 20, and 31, all said that these are the isles of the children of each one of those boys of Noah, after their family, after their tongue, in their country, and in their nation. 20 calls out Ham's name. 31 calls out Shem's name. But verse 5 say, these are the isles of the Gentiles, divided in their land, everyone in their country, in their nation. And black people around here talking about the Gentiles. And only one seed is the Gentile. And that's the oldest child, Noah, Japheth. So I blame the black churches, man, for not bringing that to the people. You know?
Well, what role do you think that fathers have in that, within the home? Do you think, so I believe at some point, throughout our history, we did know. I believe at some point, like we were talking the other day, and I was telling you how if you look at Joshua time after Moses died, and Joshua took them over to Jordan,
right? And
Joshua, led them into the land,
right?
And then after that, this is around the time when Joshua says, as for me and my house, we gonna serve the Lord. And after Joshua passed, it said that next generation didn't know God. They didn't know the truth. So obviously we know Moses was doing his thing. Then after Moses, right, Joshua did his thing. So it's that generation
right after the promised land.
Yeah.
Because Moses was bitter because of the rebellions of the people. And the warning in the wilderness, God was killing off those people and starting fresh with the children, which Joshua led to the promise.
Joshua led.
He was not fixing that. The people that was in the generation of Moses entered into that promised land. Their problem was they wanted a king. This is when Samuel was the prophet then. And God told them, give them what they want, because God wanted to be their king. But let them know that this king going to take their children and you're going to pay taxes to them. And that's why we're paying taxes, And you're going to submit to the king, or whatever he say, Now, they rebelled again. Solomon come on the scene now. And Solomon was a wise man, but he was a homemonger. And he had many concubines. And some women, he worshiped their God.
Mm-hmm.
And God was angry with him. But he did not kill him because of his father David, who was after his own heart. All right.
Mm-hmm.
Now, these people is under a law that persecuted them for being a sinner. The reason why Romans chapter 3 say not one is good, all fell short of the glory of God, which man used that as a man cannot be perfect, but that's why Christ came, to fulfill the law in love. Now the law will persecute you if you don't love one another. And Solomon caused a division in Israel.
Mm-hmm.
God told him in 1 Kings chapter 11 that I'm gonna let you live your life because of your father David, but I'm gonna strip your oldest of 10 tribes, happens to be African Americans, and I'm gonna give him one, which was Benjamin, which is the Haitians. Judah is the Jamaicans, the seed David and Solomon and all of them came from. Okay? Now, we haven't came back together yet. It's because the churches failed to teach this part, afraid of man more than God.
Mm-hmm.
All right? Now, when I was troubled over that woman, that voice came to me and told me it's time for you to accept Christ in your life. Now, before that happened, I had an uncle who was a bishop. Well, he was I guess I'd say, an ordinary man. But when me and the woman that I was troubled over with, I moved back to Port Richard. I was living in Tarpon Springs, Florida. And I was the only ride out of there. We was going back to the club, which ran me to shacking because I got tired of doing the same old thing. And that's another thing. When you get tired of doing the same old thing, God is calling you.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if you could hear him. Well, anyway, he told me, he said, boy, you clean as a whistle. I was a gigolo. I mean, I was a sharp little dude. And he said, you better have your fun because you ain't going to have that much time left, right? And man, a week later, here come these bosses. I was driving a concrete truck then. I went out on the load, you know. I got stuck. I'm raising all kind of sand. I wasn't even acting like myself, you know. But after I dropped that load and I'm washing down the truck and all of a sudden, man, I'm crying and I don't even know why.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm wiping the tears from my face, saying to myself, why and what I'm crying for? And then the voice says, it's time to accept Christ in your life. And I'm like, what?
And what year is this?
This was in 83.
83. Okay.
83. I got out of the service in 82. And I think it was, a year later.
I want to talk to you about that time before you go there. Because, okay, you say you did about 3 years in the service.
Yeah.
I want you to talk about that experience because one thing that really, really, really intrigued me.
Uncle Sam gave me a sense of direction.
Yeah.
Uncle Sam made a man out of me.
Yeah.
You know? And that it was brotherhood there.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, guys all over the world.
Mm-hmm.
You know? But company-wise, it was brotherhood there. We looked out for one another.
Yeah.
You know? And when I came back home, and when I came back to Gainesville, I'm working at the rec center, you know, and I'm learning that children didn't change. And
In those 3 years.
Oh man. Well, I went back after the service, I went back to Port Richard. I didn't come back to Gainesville until '86.
Okay, so it's
This
been a
is
few
when I
years.
met my wife. It's been a few years. But I didn't notice the children until I worked at TB McPherson.
Yeah.
And these old ladies that used to be our elders, you know, I spoke to them, told them, you know, who I was, and asked them, you know, well, what happened to the choirs unions? And she said children was too bad. And HRS were too involved with the discipline. They didn't like the way they disciplined. So each church just branched off to themselves. It was like, man, 10 churches, man, that was up under the same umbrella. Then everybody branched off to themselves. That's when I call it separation. Because it's just like when we was in slavery and then we was free, and the segregation, the integration hurted us even more.
I wanted to ask you about that.
It hurted us, man. Because we didn't have a sense of direction. We always believed anything the white man told us, you know. And the same thing that's going on right now went on then, and we got video camera now, and they still getting away with it. Thank God for George Floyd, right? That's the first one. That justice prevailed, you know. But we
with that though, with that. So would you say, you know, when do you believe that the black family really began to go like be, you know, the black woman over here, the black man over here? Like when was that point, you know, because like I think you lived in the interesting eras. You know, I think you was a teenager in the 70s. So you seen a lot of that. Like when did you really notice
it was
the
in the
divide?
70s, and welfare did it. The woman don't need a man only just to have sex with him. Because the government then told her, say, hey, you know, we gonna make him pay. See, the goal was to attack the male offspring, just like Moses. You know, when Pharaoh felt like that Israel was multiplying so much, they joined an enemy of theirs and come against them. So they was going to attack the male offspring and kill all boy babies from 2 years under because they knew a deliverer was coming. And Moses was placed in a river where Pharaoh's niece found him and took him in. And his sister would make us the Moses' mother was her maid. And she knew that she had a child, and she nursed her own child. Ain't that something? And Moses grew on to be a grown man until he learned he was an Israelite. Can you imagine what that'll do to you? Found his mother and his sister, and it wound up being the woman that nursed him. You know?
Real.
Saw two of his brothers fighting each other after they saw him kill an Egyptian. Told him, who made you rule over us? Moses didn't know he was going to be leading them at this time. But when they said, what, you going to kill us like you did the Egyptian? And Moses fled. You know, he fled.
It's always funny in that story. I always think, you know, how funny it was, how obviously these two, they were of two different nations, but they had to be both black people on both sides.
All of them was black.
But Moses identified with the Israelites, he can see
Look at
himself
here.
within them.
When Noah got on that boat, all of them was
Yeah.
black.
All right, that's
Okay?
real.
See, this is what I say about the churches. All right. Now, God really planted everything in 6 days and rested. Just like we plant a garden and then watch it grow. You see, when I read Genesis 1:26, you telling Jesus, let us make man in our image after our likeness. God is a spirit. At least that's what John 4:24, St. John 4:24 said. That God is a spirit and we must worship him in spirit and truth. And this is not what the church has done yet. Because you got to be born again in order to worship God in spirit and in truth. And every time when I tell them about Hebrew 1:7 and of the angels, God said Jesus makes God's angel spirit, which what they was making in Genesis 1:26 when they was making man. This man, 2 Corinthians chapter 4, 16th verse say, the outward man perish, and that's the flesh. And it's the inward man that's being renewed. So basically, heaven is being judged. Earth is the battlefield. And right now, the flesh is warring against the spirit and the spirit against the flesh. Galatians chapter 5, 16 to 18. Okay? See, this is what the translator didn't grasp at the end. Because God knew if they knew what they were translating, I wouldn't know what I'm telling you right now. See, we got to be about Isaiah chapter 28, 9 and 10. Precepts got to be upon precepts. And then it say precepts got to be upon precepts twice. But it's really 4 times. Line upon line, line upon line, here a little, there a little. The same thing Timothy said in 2 Timothy 2, 14 through 15. We got to stop going about words of no profit, but to the subverting of the hearer. Study to show thyself approved, rightly dividing the word of truth, not being ashamed. All right? See, when Genesis 2:5 said the reason why after God rested that I think he planted everything. In Genesis 2:5 it said before anything grew and there was not a man to till the ground and God had not caused it to rain on the earth, but a dew came up and wet the ground. And in the 7th verse when God formed this spirit from the dust and gave it a natural body. All right? So if it's not a man to till the ground, then who is this man? In Genesis chapter 1:26, when they said, let us make him. It was the inward man, just like 2 Corinthians chapter 4, 16 says. The outward man is perishing. It's the inward man that's being renewed. All right? And another mystery, the male and the female, in the 27th verse of Genesis chapter 1. So he made man in his image. In the image of God made he him. Now this image is love. This image is love. 1 John 4:8. All right? Then he say, male and female created he them. Now he ain't talking about Adam and Eve. He's talking about verse 20 through 25. The whales, the birds, the animals, and the creeping thing after their kind. Male and female. Why the churches ain't taught this yet? Why they ain't taught this yet? This is why I'm blaming the churches. Okay?
So you think, so really what you're saying is you believe that because we don't know our identity.
Right.
Because we don't know our identity, we a lot of children have went astray because the fathers went astray. So the fathers don't know who they are, so how they can't even teach the children.
Like I said before, if I think of myself as nothing, and you look like me, if I don't think I'm anything, I ain't gonna think you anything. Mm-hmm. So it wouldn't be hard for me, man. You know, it went on. All right. So I wouldn't care too much for you because I don't care too much for myself. See, we need to know that Adam was. Let me pause. I'm going to explain something to you. All right. When Adam got his body, what happened?
Let me pause it one more time.
Boom. All right, we live.
We live again?
We live.
All right, y'all. What I want y'all to understand that we are more than what we think we are. And it's because we've been taught we're nothing. We act like nothing. And we treat one another like nothing. You know, we done had blacks to secede and forget where they come from. You know, chasing the dollar. Mm-hmm. You see Bill, don't you? You see where he at. Bill wanted to buy ABC News. All right. And them white folk was like,
no, sir.
No. So they know what Bill, they know all about Bill.
Yeah.
So they got these girls, man, to come, man, and attack Bill, man.
And we talking Bill Cosby for those that don't know.
Yeah, Bill Cosby. You see where he at, don't you? Mm-hmm. He forgot where he come from. Plus, when he got there, he forgot what his purpose was. The love of money is the root of all evil. Mm-hmm. You know? And we need to know that we the first. When Noah got on that boat, it wasn't no white boy or some Mongola boy and a black boy. It was all black. Yeah. Because of Adam. All right? You know, Jesus the second Adam.
Yeah.
John said his hair was white like wool.
Yeah.
Had on this gown from his head to his feet, so you couldn't see nothing but his head and feet. And it said his feet was like fine bronze, burned in a furnace. You burn anything, what it's gonna turn. Come on now, folks.
Yeah.
Huh? Mm-hmm. So Ham, did y'all know that Ham, Noah's youngest son, was the father of Africa? See, when God formed this man from the dust of the ground, the outward man, and then blew this spirit, the inward man, in his nostrils, and this man became a living soul, God planted a garden eastward in Eden. All right? Mm-hmm. And there he put the man whom he had formed. It was the tree of life was there, and the tree of knowledge of good and evil that Adam was warned. Don't touch, don't eat of it, or you'll die. And what God meant was when he took when in chapter 3, 21 through 24, God was telling heaven how the man has become like one of them because he ate from the tree and he learned right from wrong. We didn't need to know right from wrong. Okay? All God wanted us to have was his image, which is love. So we would never get mad with each other. There wouldn't be no bloodshed. I believe we would have shared each other's woman.
I don't know about that.
No, now you wouldn't do it.
I don't know about
but
that.
Back then, and all you know how to do is love.
Yeah.
You know?
I just want to love my one. Y'all can have y'all.
Well, man, I think we were supposed to be just like the animals, man.
I don't know.
Running around butt naked, you know? And you know how you know how the man and the woman, when they get a fall on each other, you know what's coming next.
Yeah.
You get them to grinning and laughing and things, and they like you, and the next thing you know, here we go.
I'm good. I'm good on that.
But to get back to what I'm talking about, right? Ham was the father of Africa. And this is what God is telling us. After he said that the tree of life was there. Now, this tree of life that was taken up when God was telling heaven, the man has come like one of us. Yeah. Unless he take and eat of this tree of life and live forever, he say, I'm going to put him back where the flesh come from. Mm-hmm. That's earth. Now, I don't know where we was. Okay? We had to be somewhere, other than earth, because now he's putting them back where only the flesh can survive. All right? And he took up this garden and put the cherubims around it, flaming swords, which that's the power that the devil had. He stripped them of it. Okay? That's in Ezekiel 28. I think it's 13 through 19. Y'all ought to read that. Y'all going to find out that Cain is not Adam's son. All right? But anyway, to get back to chapter 2, 7 through 14, God said he ran a river through. Remember what verse 5 said. All right? He had not caused it to rain. Now, a river runs through this garden. And it split it into 4 rivers. And the first river ran through Ham's grandson from his firstborn, Cush, Havilah. All right? And the second river ran through Cush land, which is Ethiopia. Now, that should have told the church or something right there, because we all know where Ethiopia come from. Right? Mm-hmm. But those white folks, man, made them ignore all of that. And then the third and the fourth river, it said the third one was Hiddekel, which goeth toward the east of Assyria. And the fourth one was the Euphrates. Now, this is the Middle East, folks. And if you were to go to Genesis chapter 10, it talks about the borders of Canaan. The third and the fourth river was in the borders of Canaan. Now, y'all tell me something here. Noah had 3 sons. Why is Ham the only one mentioned during the duration of Adam's beginning? Is God trying to tell us Adam looked like Ham? You see what the churches is at fault here? You see that? Now, where white folks come from? Now, in 2 Kings, I don't know if y'all knew Elijah, who fled from Jezebel because she killed all God's prophets and tore down all his altars, and he was left to be killed. But he had a servant named Elisha, knew he was going back home to the Father. And he asked him, grant me the power you possess. And Elijah said, if you see me going up in the whirlwind, it is granted to you. This guy cursed Japheth's seed white. And the person he cursed that was in Japheth's seed, this is 2 Kings chapter 5, y'all. All right, the 27th verse say, the leprosy therefore of Naaman shall cleave to thee and thy seed forever. And he went out from his presence a leper as white as snow. Mm-hmm. All right. This need to be taught. Is it important? No, because of the Spirit.
I would say it's important, and I'll say it's important for this reason. And this is where I really think one of the problems is. I believe that there are a lot of people, especially today, in today's time, that have been waking up. I do believe a lot of our people have been waking up to understand their true identity.
That's good.
And that's one part of it, though. But once you understand your identity, this is where I believe that we drop the ball at. Because I think a lot of times we teach people that, okay, boom, you are Israel, or the people in the Bible.
Yeah, but you got to prove it.
But now, But even if you do that, though, Pops, look at this. Now, after you do that, you can get people to that point. But now we got to go to Deuteronomy 28.
Okay.
And we got to look at the blessings and the cursings for not following the law. I think where the problem is at times we only look at those blessings. Everybody like to say, I'm blessed going in, I'm blessed going out, I'm blessed in the field, I'm blessed in the city, I'm blessed. I'm not the I'm the head, I'm not the tail. We like to say that stuff.
When they gonna bless God?
But
God already done blessed them.
But everybody look at that. But look at this. In Deuteronomy chapter 28, from verse 15 all the way to like 68, were the curses. We don't, I think that was verse 15 where he said, now if you don't carefully do all these things that I've told you, I'm going to put all these curses on you. And so if you look from verse 16, like I say, all the way to like verse 68.
He did put them curses.
And he put those curses on us.
And we blaming the white man.
And we blame that. But we got to blame ourselves because we're not following the law of God.
If you was to read Lamentation chapter 5, we have borne the iniquity of our fathers. All right? God has stripped us. And Jeremiah says that the people of the north, the terrible of the nation, is coming to put us in bondage. You know who that is? That's Europe.
Yeah.
That's Europe. All right? It's because we just didn't obey his laws, man. I don't care what generation it was, man. We always rebel. Right now, we can't even must go out and have a good time, man.
That's the problem, man.
You know what I mean?
That's the
Without
problem.
somebody getting killed, you know, over something petty.
Very petty, man.
Now, listen at this here, right? You know the Holy Spirit comforting us now. In Genesis chapter 5, verse 28 and 29, it says, Lamech had a son and called his name Noah, saying, this same shall comfort us concerning the work and toils of our hands because of the ground which the Lord had cursed. Okay? Now, in chapter 6, 8 and 9, it says that Noah was a just man. And he was perfect in his generation. All right? And he walked with God. Do we walk with him?
That's the question.
See, Enoch walked with God and God took him.
All right.
But what is this walk? You know, if you're going to walk with man, how can you walk with God? Jesus came down here and walked with God. I'm trying to walk with it. And I'm being able to. Now, when I cut the food and be saying all that B word and MFs and all of that right there, you know, I can't let them folks know, man, I know what I'm talking about right now and where to go in the scriptures. Fine.
You got to let them know, though, Pops. You have to, man. You have to.
The wilderness? Man, I get some guys on that. Man, we don't want to hear that S.
Well, I mean, at the end of the day,
you
there's
know?
going to be some people that don't want to hear it. But I think you still got to uphold that.
When he say that right there,
yeah.
Man, I'm going to tell you something. God is a monster, man.
No, I think that's
God
your flesh.
Monster, man.
Your flesh rolls up.
No, man. I'm being blamed for it, man.
Your flesh rolls up.
Y'all, hey, look at him, y'all. Let me tell y'all something. A lot of that don't be me.
Man, your flesh
rolls up. A lot of that
up.
be God, y'all. God is a monster. I'm telling you now. He's a monster. And I get blamed for it. God need bodies.
No, man.
He need bodies. You know what I mean? He need bodies. And if you don't read, man, we failing God because of the lack of knowledge. You got to read 66 books.
Yeah.
All right? That Holy Spirit that everybody talking about they got.
Yeah.
That's Emmanuel. In Matthew chapter 1, 22 and 23, the one that impregnated Mary. All right? 1 John 5, 6 through 8 say the Father is the Word and the Holy Spirit. All right? And we got to be witnesses. All right? Now, the 6th verse tells us that Jesus is the 8th verse. Mm-hmm. Now, in this book right here, International, the 7th verse has been removed. Mm-hmm. It's been removed. There's a lot of things been removed. That's why you got to know which book to read. And it's the KJV.
I'm going to say this right here, Pops. I think, like, okay, boom, the dude get on there, he go to talking crazy. You know, one guy say he gonna come across your head, all this. But when you really have that spirit, bro, the fruit of the spirit will be evident. Because even though, and I say this, you know, talking to myself as well, okay, and I hold myself accountable to these types of things because, you know, I had an issue last year. A guy at the job talking crazy. But you know what I had to do, Pops? I said, man, I can act a fool with that man, but you know what? He ain't worth my salvation. He ain't worth what's inside of it. And that spirit inside of me, I had to bear those fruit, which is love, joy, peace, self-control. I have to exhibit those things, and those things will come out of me if that spirit really is within me. And those seeds have really been planted within me. That fruit gonna come out. So
I hear you, man.
Now, and I ain't gonna act like
you ain't finna hang me on no cross without a fight.
But I ain't saying that. No,
Jesus went on the cross.
No, I ain't saying that. But
I ain't finna do that.
But I'm saying though, like when you really got that thing as much as you want to. Now I ain't saying let somebody put your hands on you. Now nobody ain't put their hands on me. But now that ain't what I'm telling you. I said somebody was running their mouth. Yeah. And because he ran his mouth and he didn't put his hands on me, man, I ain't finna let you get me.
Well, there's a scripture.
Get you out me out of my character.
There's a scripture. Now I'm gonna try my darndest, man, to tell him, you know, about his misbehavior. Yeah. You know. But remember Matthew chapter 7, 1 through 6. Right?
Yeah.
Now, it started saying, judge not, or you shall be judged. Mm-hmm. Now, you sent me some scriptures one time talking about a fool. A fool is wiser than a wise man when he's silent. You know?
When he's silent, okay.
When he's silent, you know? And that's what you was doing.
Because I think sometimes we talk too much, Pops. Like, we can talk. We'll talk all that, and it's like as much as... Sometimes, man, without just being quiet, just let people talk. Yeah. And they'll prove themselves to be fools.
And you'll also be able to pass judgment.
Yeah.
Now look at 1 Corinthians chapter 6, verse 3. Don't y'all know y'all gonna judge angels? Mm-hmm. Now we angels in these bodies. Mm-hmm. And you sit back talking about judge not, or you shall be judged. You got to remember what measure meat are you judging. Mm-hmm. Now, if I see you doing something, you know, well, you can't judge me. I say, well,
yeah,
I'm looking at you.
Yeah, I don't believe that.
Yes, I can. Yeah. I'm looking at you.
I mean, if you look at the word says, don't cast your pearls amongst swine. In order for you to know that someone is swine, you must.
That's where I'm getting at.
Make the judgment and say, that's swine.
It says something before that.
Yeah.
It say, give not that is holy to dogs. All right. And cast your pearls not before swine.
And that takes
because
judgment.
They will trample you under their feet and rend you.
Yeah.
You follow me?
Yeah.
And that's what they do. Mm-hmm. You know, me, I let them say all kind of stuff about me, man. I mean, I done said a lot of things, man, you know. Well, they got the right to think that way.
Yeah.
You know? Mm-hmm. Now, we got a God also.
Yeah.
That's sending out strong delusions.
Yeah.
To making you to believe a lie.
Yeah.
All right? Now, I act like a fool because of Hebrew 8:10 through 12. When a new covenant is being made. Yeah. All right? Not like the covenant that he made with the fathers that he took by the hand and they came out of Egypt. Mm-hmm. You know? He said, before then, he said Israel and Judah, right, which is the old covenant. But now he's saying Israel now, because when he said Israel and Judah, that's 12 tribes, but Israel is also 12 tribes. Mm-hmm. See, we got to get away, man, with this, the Jews representing 12 tribes. Mm-hmm. Only one tribe is the Jew.
Yeah, that's real.
Now, he says that a new covenant that he was going to make with the house of Israel, you know, not according to the covenant that he made with his father when he took them by the hand and led them out of Egypt. He said that he was going to put his laws in our mind and write them in our heart. That's Emmanuel, the Holy Spirit. Mm-hmm. And that they are not going to teach every man is their neighbor or their brother, or know Jesus Christ, because all gonna know him from the least to the greatest. And God said he was going to be merciful to their iniquity and their unrighteousness and their sins. He will not remember no more. Mm-hmm. Now, in 2 Thessalonians, God said, because chapter 2, 10 through 12, God said, because you failed to believe the truth that you might be saved, I'm sending strong delusion to make you believe a lie before you believe the truth, that you all might be damned who had pleasures in unrighteousness. Mm-hmm. Now, I consulted God. I say, you the one. See, this is why these people this is why I can't get through. Why are you doing this? And he took me to John chapter 10, 1 through 5. These people is following strangers. Now, this is what it says. Enter at the gate. Before, it was just thieves and robbers. You know, my sheep will hear my voice, and a stranger they will not follow. When he said that, I said, okay, Lord, sorry about that. I get the drill. So you want me to set them up like Christ set us up. I got you. Y'all don't think Christ set us up, do you? We got to do what Christ did. Yeah. He set us up. He set us up. When he set us up, the Father said, come on up here, thou son. Sit right here on my right-hand side while I make thine enemies thine footstool. Mm-hmm. Don't imitate them. If you don't imitate them, God gonna make you his footstool. And let me tell you something, this body right here, Galatians chapter 5, verse 19 through 21. Don't do that. You'll make it. You'll make it. And and it ain't easy. This flesh wars against you. This is what you got to do. You wake up every day and you tell it, oh, we going to be good today. Mm-hmm. You know, you got to do just what my man is saying. Mm-hmm. You got to ignore some stuff sometimes.
Straight up.
You know?
Man, we'll go all day on this right here, Pops. I told you we ain't going to be too long. I got some more questions I want to ask you, man. You know, but hey, y'all listen now. A lot of this stuff Pop's saying, I know y'all don't be liking to listen to Pops, and y'all go research for yourself. I always tell people, don't believe me. Don't believe Pops. Go do your own studying. Go do your own research. That's one thing that I've learned over the years. I don't listen to no man.
Yeah,
I go do my own.
If you don't like him.
Straight up. So, you know, take everything what Pop's saying with a grain of salt. Go do your own research. You know, because at the end of the day, you're going to have to know for yourself. So I just wanted to put that out there and let y'all know that. Go do your own research. Don't listen to nothing I said. Don't listen to nothing he said. Go do your research.
Read the word.
Read the word. Find these things out for you, because at the end of the day, you are studying for you and nobody else.
And I'm going to add to that. The reason why it's so important to read the word, because it activates the Holy Spirit.
Straight up, man. But man, Pop, I wanted to go here with you, man. I wanted to ask you, what's one aspect of your parenting that you would like to get better at? I know you said what you got 6 children.
I got 6 children from 6 different women, and I don't know but one of them, but 2 of them. My Vernon and Laquisha.
Mm-hmm. So in your parenting with those 2, and we're gonna talk about the other ones too.
I took on 5 more.
Mm-hmm.
I'm hoping I made up for my shortcut.
Yeah.
Here's we always ate at the table.
Mm-hmm.
This is the time for everybody to speak their mind. I don't care if it makes me mad, man. I got to know, man, what you're thinking about.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And you can't treat every child the same.
Yeah, that's right.
You got to know their limitations.
Mm-hmm.
All right? Now, these boys, man, I had 4 nephews and 1 niece. I lost her to drugs. And right now, Vernon, by him being the youngest, he the only one that can look at them and decide that I'm going to do better. And he is doing better than them. But it don't mean that because what they're doing, they don't reach that goal before he do. Because, see, when I was out there and I got trouble, and cousins older than me was ministers and whatnot, and here I come behind them, doing something better than what they're doing. I'm telling the truth, and they still lying. Mm-hmm. You follow me? When I was raising this family of 6, I had everybody under subjection to my rule. Even in school, I tell them, I said, look at here, I'm going to tell y'all something right now. I say, if a teacher say y'all doing something you ain't got no business doing, I'm going to believe the teacher. I say, I'm telling y'all, she can lie on you. I'm going to tell your ass up. Yeah. Even if she lied. So y'all better be on your best behavior. Yeah. You got to do that. Yeah. You know what I mean? If you don't do that, man, you can't do that now. Yeah. But you at least have to try to enforce it, man. We are limited now, man. Yeah. You see what I'm saying? Now, the woman got to be the boss because she got to be happy, even though God said that she's supposed to have sorrow. And in her sorrow, she would bear children. But y'all see, man, what men, y'all know what we up against here, man. I would try to, when my wife go off on the deep end, I try to tell her, what's right and what makes sense and all of that, right? And my wife, man, man, that's a hard cookie right there, man. She will try to, voice her opinion. I can't get mad because, see, I'm trying her to see my point of view, So, I live another, to fight another day. No matter how long it takes, I want her to see this thing. You almost have to go along with them because you know what's going to happen. And then when it happens, they going to be sorry. Like my wife. She said, baby, you was right. I said, hey, that's all right, just as long as we learn from it. I'm serious now. I was stressed out, y'all. Yeah. So now I got to, bite something that I knew was going to happen and hope, come on, I know you're coming. Come on, so I can get this out the way, pay for it with her and move on. Yeah. Yeah. You know what's going to happen, man. But you got to see her You want to tell her and the children, you know, this gonna happen. You know what my children tell me? Aunt told me this.
Yeah.
You wanna tell them, man, what's gonna be the result. So when it happened, you told them. And you bails them out. You bails them out.
Yeah.
And that's gonna bring the bond.
Yeah.
You know, you care. You showing you care.
Yeah.
I'm serious, man. And we got through it until my family came in, man, and destroyed it.
Mm-hmm.
They destroyed it. You know, my mom passed, and I got them. You know, she had a stroke, a lot of sorrow, and I think she just couldn't believe all that was happening. She had 17 bullet, man, because of stroke. Man. She was about diabetic, and it was self-pity, and she died. Which I had already got the boys that she was raising, you know, and you know it was sad, man. But anyway, she told them boys that I was gonna straighten them out. We already had my wife's sisters too. You know, when I met my wife, you know, she was living with her mother, and those two was there, and we was already had them two. And then what happened to my mom, you know, and then those three came, you know. She told them, she said, Vernon gonna straighten y'all out. And I did.
Yeah.
But my family thought I didn't have full custody. And when I felt like they was trying to flee from me because of the discipline, I made a mistake and gave them a choice. They chose to go with their auntie, my baby sister. Yeah. And that's the mistake I made. Yeah. I regret it today, man. But one calls me all the time when he runs into people, man, that wants to talk about God. He would call me. Yeah. You know, I think that's the one, man, that's gonna go first. You know, and I got 2 alcoholics. Yeah. And I got another one that's just angry, man. But I'm the coolest still. My job ain't done until the day I die. And he's my nephew. I can't, there's no hope for my niece, because she's in and out of the clinic. Yeah. All right. But there's still hope for them, man. They know what I stand for. Yeah.
And see, I think that take a lot, you know, to really be able to admit, you know, but I think that's a real man also to be able to step in, you know, and take care of something that ain't yours. Right. You know, to make that stuff, and, you know, and that's why I like to give props to men, you know, because I know a lot of men out here that have stepped into those roles like that, because at the end of the day, you didn't create that child, but the man that did, for whatever reason, ain't there. And man, I just,
but you know that don't matter.
Yeah, straight up.
Let me tell y'all something. Because I used to love already made families. And the way I got to them women is through their children. Yeah. Man, they was calling me daddy. They loved me. You know what I mean? They did. Boy, once I did that, here we go. Here she come. I got you.
Yeah, crazy.
Yeah, man. I got them through her children, man. I showed her children so much love. Oh, man. Let me tell y'all something, man. You don't have to father a child to become a child daddy.
Yeah.
All right? You don't. And them girls, man, that's having them babies, I don't care if they got 5 and 5 different daddies and things, right? Because sooner or later, you come in like that right there. She'll start telling daddy, oh, we don't need nothing. Move on.
This man going off with
You
the
know?
women with the children, man.
You see what I'm saying? But you better tell them to respect their dad. You know? And let them know, say, hey, nah, don't listen to your mama. That's your daddy. You know, you respect your daddy. You blessed. You got two.
Yeah.
He ain't forgot about you.
Yeah.
I mean, I just done took you for the moment. He gonna do right by you because he want to prove to you that he can be better than me. Because she already done told him, hey, we don't need nothing. We don't need nothing.
Boy, you crazy.
Nah, fellas, man. If you see a woman with a lot of kids, trust me, man, 9 times out of 10, you see a woman, your man gonna submit to you.
Yeah.
Because you fixing to come in there, man, and raise a family. You know?
Yeah. Hey man, I'll say this, man. Shout out to all the men that do take on those roles and take it serious, you know, like, because you just never know a woman's situation. You know, you never know what happened. You know, the dad could have died, whatever. You know, you just never know.
Yeah, he could have died.
I don't think we should ever judge a woman if she does have children and the man in there, because until you get to know her and figure that out.
Because she's doing what God told her to do.
Straight up.
Let me tell you something. It's right there in 1 Timothy chapter 2, 11 through 15. That 15th verse say, hold on, man, I got to read this in, man.
Yeah.
All right. I got to read this. Yep, I can see it. All right, y'all listen at this here. This is 1 Timothy. Any day now.
Pops gonna put the bifocals on, man.
Huh?
You gonna put them bifocals on.
Yeah, man.
You need them for them small words, man. I can't read that.
Yeah, man. All right. Chapter 2, y'all. Listen at this here. No, that's Thessalonians. Hold on. Here we go. In the 11th verse, it says, let the woman learn in silence with all subjection. But I suffer not a woman to teach or use authority over the man, but to be in silence. For Adam was first formed, then Eve, and Adam was not deceived, but the woman, being deceived, was in the transgression. Notwithstanding, she shall, this is why we got welfare, ladies. Notwithstanding, she shall be saved in childbearing, if they continue in faith and charity and holiness with sobriety. Girls, this is why the government is giving y'all all of this assistance. This is why y'all got a place to stay. But why y'all let them drug dealers come in there and sell their stuff? Don't y'all know, man, if the law ever find out, you're going to be put out doors, children and families going to have your children, and who going to be to blame? No, girls. You got to. Long as a man like you for your measurements and love you for who you are and come in there, man, and want to take care of you and your kids, that's your man. So what he a nerd? You know? You can turn him in. You can teach him to have swag. Right?
Teach him to have swag.
Yeah, you can teach him to have swag. You know?
Man, Pops.
Man, everybody, man, they don't want the nerd, man. You know, the guy, man, that might be slow or the man got a job.
Yeah.
You know, the man love you. If he love you, you know, you gonna do what you say.
Yeah.
I mean, I do what mine say. And I'm the breadwinner.
Yeah.
36 years under my belt.
Yeah.
I ain't going
Talk about that, man. Like, talk about like how marriage has been for you. You know, I'm young, man. I like to learn from others.
Man, y'all got to take the good with the bad, man. That's all. You got to take the good with the bad.
Yeah.
Let me tell you something about me and my wife, right? Wherever we have a disagreement at, that's where we going to settle at.
Yeah.
We don't care who watching, who listening. I was at a party one time at one of her friends' house, man, and we were saying some of the bogus things to one another. And they thought we was going to get a divorce. And then when it was dinner time or lunchtime, she said, baby, what you want? I said, what they got? And then she tell me what they got. And I said, I want a little bit of this, I want a little bit of that. And she go and fix my plate, bring it to me. We kiss and I eat.
Yeah.
And some friend looked over at us. He said, y'all about two of the craziest people I ever seen in my life, you know. And that's the way we is. We don't go to bed, man.
Yeah.
You know.
That's important.
You got to take the good with the bad. Don't never take nothing personal because it's not personal. It's just a disagreement. Mm-hmm. That's all it is.
Now, see, that's something I got to work on myself. You know, I can say that, you know, it's times when, you know, like I'll be mad with my wife about something. And like I'll sleep on that thing, bro. And sometimes I carry it for 2 days.
No.
Yeah, I got to.
Man, I'm going to tell you something. I done got to the point, man, with my wife, man, mad with me. And she in her rights now. Yeah. And then I would say something, man, that will change the mood.
Yeah.
You leaving? Yeah. And she just looked at me. She said, you know what? I can't stand you. Yeah. I said, is you leaving? I said, okay, I was wrong, man. A lot of times we got to agree. Yeah. That's real. We got to agree. Yeah. Even sometimes when they wrong, you still got to agree. Bro, listen, now that's one thing I will say this. Now, sometimes I might be mad for them 2 days. Yeah. But in that, you know, God will show me where I was wrong in that. And I go back to my wife and I apologize, you know, and I make it right. And I that's
always,
what made it right.
Even when I don't be feeling like I be necessarily all the way wrong. But I say, you know what? It ain't worth for me to be mad with my wife or mess my marriage up. Being prideful like that. Just be like, man, hey, you know what? I'm sorry. Look at everything be good. Let me tell y'all fellas something out there, man. You can pout too long. Yeah. Joe Blow out there looking at your house. Yeah. Okay? For real. Oh, man. They tell him how to get the thing, man. All right. They tell him. They tell him everything they mad with about you. What you think they gonna do? They gonna play the game. Yeah. Oh, man, they gonna tell her things, man, to make her feel like she right and then make her think he's Mr. Right, and all he want is panty. Yeah. You better believe. You know, so, you know, you got to take the good with the bad. Gots to, man. You know, you got to, hey, don't think being the head or ruling over her is actually being the head and ruling over her. Mm-hmm. It really means you got to lead. Mm-hmm. That's what we don't talk about enough. We got to lead. All right. You got 1 Corinthians chapter 11, starting at the first verse, talking about the ordinance of God. Mm-hmm. And Paul says, the head of the woman is the man, and the head of the man is Christ, and the head of Christ is God. If you don't line yourself up with Christ, what you expect her to do? Yeah. Straight up. And then here come your children, man. All right. They going astray now. Mm-hmm. No, man, line yourself up with Christ, because Christ done lined himself up with the Father. Mm-hmm. All right? You got to obey the commands, man. Straight up. You got to lead. Straight up. You know? You got to make sure that woman ain't getting tired of you when you want pleasure. Yeah. You know?
If you home, man, and you ain't working on no kind of project or making a way for you and your family, now you won't play. I'm tired.
All right.
It ain't that she tired. She just tired of you doing nothing.
All right. She tired of you sometimes.
Yeah, she tired of you doing nothing, man.
That's real.
You know?
Y'all better take heed. Now, for those out there that's married, you know.
Yeah, this can be
take
just
heed,
shacking. Because you married when you shacking. Common law wife.
Might as well say. Might as well say. And that's free game right there, man. Y'all better listen to Pops when he talking about that.
Man, I'm going to tell you something. I've
Real.
been through the burning sand. She'd have been through the burning sand, but we made it.
Yeah.
We made it. And we still making it, man.
Yeah.
Y'all done heard on B Live on Deck, me and her get into it.
Yeah.
You know. And y'all done seen me hummer down, too. I heard. Yeah, I remember y'all be talking about when I be talking dirty. Where mama dudes? Where mama dudes? Y'all know who the boss in that house. Y'all know who the boss.
No, Pop, boy. What really killed me, I think the one time you had that phone, man, and you were talking quiet. I think Vernon had left out the room.
Yeah, he left me out there by myself. Yeah, I was. I was whispering.
Well, I died.
I was whispering.
Man, when I tell you,
I was having fun, man, but I was whispering.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I was whispering.
And then Vern came back, and then your wife came in there. Y'all tried to play it off. I said, man, this right here is pure gold. Like, and that's why I be trying to tell my wife. She be like, what you over there looking
What y'all talking about?
Yeah.
Nothing. Like a child. Like a child.
Man, listen.
Man, we ain't talking about nothing.
Man, that right there was pure gold to me. You know, my wife I be laying in the bed, sitting over there kikiing, laughing. My wife said, man, why you still over there laughing? I say, man, I can't help it. I can't help it. I say, Pops over here got me dying right now, man.
Remember what I said about Vernon?
Yeah.
She got us under so much subjection, man. And Vernon, whatever she say, Vernon right along with it.
Yeah.
You know, and this particular time when I said, well, I just can't say nothing. And then I told her, I said, y'all know what? I say, Duke can murder me, and Pigeon here would say it was self-defense.
What you crazy?
You know what I mean? He hate when I call him Pigeon, man. But, man, he can't be letting them girls, man. I mean, man, this boy just got a bad nose for a woman. You always want to get married. You know?
Man, listen. V Live, man, we love you, my brother. We love you, man. We love you.
Yeah,
big shout out to my man.
He's
Vernon,
a good guy, man.
Yeah.
He was better than I ever was.
Yeah, that's real.
You know, he was. He moved out, I think, when he was working for the state. I think he was 19. And he moved out in his own apartment, man. And, he's 31 now, and he just came back home. Talk about bad relationship.
Yeah.
6 years bad relationship.
Dang.
From 19. No, he's 33. Yeah.
So then what, Vernon older than me?
I think Vernon 33.
What year he was born?
89.
So yeah, he with me. I'm 89. I'm January 89. I'm 32.
Though, so he might.
So he probably about to turn either 32 or he gonna turn 32 this year. Okay.
Yeah, he right along with me. Yeah, man. And I ain't never was a bachelor.
Yeah.
Always shack.
Yeah.
You know? And leave, I mean, when I shack, I was participating, man. I don't know, I done left, 3 or 4 stereos in them girls' houses.
No, man.
and some sofas, and because I went from one house to another. You can have it. I'm leaving something for you to remember me by.
Golly, boy, you leaving stereos.
I'm leaving all that stuff, man.
Yeah.
Move on in there with the other girl, man. She don't want that mess in her house.
Yeah.
I'll buy you one. I'm in the business for buying y'all stereos. Long as I can sleep here. You know, rent cheap. Yeah, I'll buy you a living room set.
Yeah, you crazy.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man. That's one thing I never did, man, was a bachelor.
Yeah.
I had my own place. Because then you got to go out and you got to hunt them old predators out there. You think you the predator, you being preyed on. Well, them girls got something fire. You think you handling things and being handled. I gotta have mine laying right there next to me. Free.
Yes, sir.
Ready. When I'm ready.
Yeah.
You know? Man, let me tell you something. I don't take nothing back, man.
Yeah.
I don't, man. I married young, man. And I came into the Lord young.
Yeah.
I had to be about 24 years old.
Yeah, you sound like me. Sound like me.
And I'm getting wiser and wiser, man. I read that book 100 times, y'all. I didn't know I read it 100 times. But a spiritual advisor told me I read it 100 times, you know. She also told me I would never have a title. You know, I would never have a church. But I'm going to do work for God. She said that I'm going to say things and rouse people's spirits and set their souls on fire. And I can't believe that's exactly what I'm doing on Facebook.
Yeah.
Writing letters. Even though I don't get no comment, when I get views, yeah, they reading it. All I'm doing is chipping off the rough edges, giving you an idea of planning and watering, hoping my planning and watering help you understand the increase, which is the scriptures provided. If you read the scripture and see if it's backing me up.
Straight up.
Straight up.
Straight up, man. Man, Paul, this is my last question right here, man. Knowing everything you know today, if you could go back and talk with the 18-year-old version of you, if you seen that young man right now, 18-year-old version of you, man, you can look him dead in his eyes.
Knowing what I know right now?
Knowing what you know right now. If you just had to give him one piece of advice, what would you say to that young man?
I would tell him, man,
keep that thing in your pants?
Yeah. I said, look, you know, be like my son.
Yeah.
You know, get your woman. You try to stay away from them fellas.
Yeah.
Because they're going to have you doing some things, man, you know, that's out of character. I made one big mistake when I came out of the service. I was in the Soldiers Education Savings, man, and I cashed it in. I could have been anything I wanted to be. I had so many people tell me, man, that I'm a counselor, a therapist, you know. And I would have had a trade or, you know, talent in doing that. Even though still I'm a truck driver now. But I would tell that young man, you know, the sky's is the limit. Better things come to those that wait.
Mm-hmm.
You know, strive, man, for perfection, man. You know, man, what I know now, I would have read my
Yeah.
You know, I made a lot of mistakes, man. That if I would have known what I know right now, I wouldn't have made these mistakes, man. I would have been further ahead than what I am,
Yeah.
you know. And 18, 18, what I was doing, 18, I was, I was graduating from out of high school. I was working. I always worked. But at night, I was a prowler. I mean, all we did, man, was chase women. Blew a lot of money. I mean, you know how they be saying the mind is a terrible thing to waste. I was wasting. We was wasting hours, man. Man, we was climbing out windows, man, with people's daughters. They in their sleep, we in there too. You know?
Yeah.
And the fighting, the shooting, the drive-by. We didn't shoot nobody. We just shot up in the air, man, to scare people, man. The breaking in houses, man. You know. Yeah, man. I did some crazy things, man. I'm not too thrilled about it, you know. But I would tell him, man, better things come to those that wait. You know, strive for perfection. You know, that's it.
That's real, man. And I think that type of reflection, man, that's the type of stuff I do a lot, man, within myself. You know, when I'm at work, you know, I do a lot of reflection. God showed me a lot of places where I've been, you know, mistakes that I made. You know, I like to go back in the days, and then, you know, that it keep me humble. That type of stuff keeps me humble, knowing that, you know, I don't know it all, man. You know, like,
Do you know I always respected my elders?
yeah,
Because I was trained to do that.
that's real.
I was always respecting my elders. And
Gots to, man.
they knew,
Gots to do that.
They knew I came from a good family.
Mm-hmm.
They knew it. They knew it. I remember when I came back here, you know, my grandmother, she basically raised my wife because she was trying to get me to be with her. But she, you know, she didn't smoke no weed, man. You know, and she gotta smoke weed, you know?
Yeah.
So I went to the environment that I was used to. Me and my wife, we come from two different environments, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And I had to, I went into that environment, man, that I love,
Mm-hmm.
you know, because the environment I came out of made me sick.
Yeah.
Because they think they better, man, you know, and they're not.
Mm-hmm.
They was church folks, and they're not. And they turn their nose up, man, at people, man. They think they're better than them. And I done got a, and when I got out there, I liked that these people better, man. That they turning their nose up again.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Straight up.
Straight up, man.
I feel like that to this day.
You know?
Right now.
Yeah. Mm. That's why I married my wife, man.
Mm-hmm.
And let me tell you something, man. Everything was automatic. I mean, she did it all, man. And I knew, like my spiritual advisor told me, we broke up one in that moment. And she wanted to work it out. So I had took her out there to this spiritual advisor. And as soon as I walked in the house, she said, "Look at my son and look at his lovely wife." She said, "Oh yeah, this your wife. And you get in here, I'm gonna talk to you." So I came in there, man, and she rolling on tablet. She said, "Boy, let me tell you something, this your wife. This is the only one that's gonna put up with you." She said she will up and leave and won't have nowhere to go. Don't let nobody, mama, daddy, brother, sister, come between you and my wife. You and your wife. So I remember what God said. Moses wrote about the man leaving his father and mother and clinging to his wife, and the two become one flesh. Notice it never says she leave hers. What I did, cling to her family, to her mother, and it worked. Her mother kept my marriage for at least 15 of those 36 years. It worked. See, my family gonna love me no matter what. But man, I practiced it, and it works, man.
That's real.
It worked.
That's real.
Me and her mama were like peas and carrots. Do you know my wife was jealous of our relationship? She always used to say, her mother, "Vernon, you act just like one of my children, like you came out of my womb." Like I say, I was taught to respect my elders.
Got to do that.
And I'm like, oh man, she was still smoking that shit, right? My kind of people.
Yeah. Yeah, that's real.
My kind of people.
Man, listen, y'all. I told you we ain't gonna be too long, man. But man, I want to go ahead and wrap it up, Pops. Man, listen, man. I really appreciate you coming through, man. I really enjoyed this time sitting and talking with you, man. And it's like I always say, man, like this right here is therapy for me, man. To sit down and talk with another man and really hear another person's story, man. And like I say, bro, I appreciate you for coming through, man. This was good, man.
Man, I appreciate you. I write letters, and I'm trying to get through, man. And I just write, letters, and this gonna help me to let people see, there's another side of Pops.
Yes, sir.
Pops got so much compassion for the least of these, my brethren, because I know God loves the least, the worst of you.
Straight up.
Straight up,
man. I want you to tell the people about your Father's Day event that you got coming up.
Oh, we're not going to have it at the park. We're going to have it at the house.
At the house, okay.
1122 Northeast 19th Place. Now, this gathering is to bring my family back together.
Yeah.
It's been a long time, and I miss them very much.
Yeah.
I get back there every time I talk about this.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is like a family reunion. This Father's Day.
That's real. And that's gonna be what, that Sunday?
That's gonna be next Sunday.
Next Sunday.
Yeah.
What time?
It's gonna start at 3:00.
3:00. Okay.
Hey man, when y'all come by, we're gonna have a good time. And I know I am, because everybody's coming.
That's real.
I'm the one that caused the division. It's a long story. It's a sad story. But my mother left here feeling like I was the because the way I see it, God brought one of his home because of what she went through the lifetime that she was here, man, and the way we is now. Don't If she was here, don't mean that she would have suffered that too.
Yeah.
She wasn't gonna be able to stop it. You know, we up, everybody doing fine, and all of a sudden big brother don't matter no more. Man, I used to protect them fellas, man, when we was kids, man. You know, I was 2 years older than the next oldest, and everybody else was a year apart. And I used to look out for them, man. I used to protect them. And when the word came, they didn't like it. The advice that I gave. One thing about me, and I tell them, you know, hey, look, I'm all for you. But if you lie to me, I'm going to tell you a lie. But if you tell me the truth, no matter if it's bad or wrong, I'm going to try to help you out of it, you know. Just like a mother with her child, you know. You get a man, talk to her, my son or my daughter just, you know, hang around with the wrong crowd. When they are bad, they are the wrong crowd. Your child is, but you don't want to hear that. You know what I mean? And you gonna always, there's always hope in your mind, you know. Deuteronomy 31, I think it started at 22nd verse. The way they got rid of evil back then, when a child didn't respect their parents, they take them to the priest. And if the priest and the child continued disrespecting, the whole village would take the child outside the village and stone him to death. And that's how they got rid of evil. And that was God's law. We don't do that no more. And evil is everywhere. It's rapists, murdering. I mean, I don't know who's the worst. The people or the justice system. You know? But hey, it is what it is.
Yeah.
Just read. Just a mind is a terrible thing to waste. Read that word for God's sake, especially my people, Israel. Okay? Search for it. See if I'm lying. You're going to find out you are that chosen seed. And another thing, Isaiah 43, 1 through 10, that second verse talks about God being with Israel when they was crossing those waters. These are slave ships on their way to America, folks, to build our land, the promised land, America. Look at it like that. Okay? They came and built our land. It was made to do it, but it's our land. When God said that he was going to put them in their own land, it's America. We got to claim it. Not America, but our identity. God said we got to claim it. That means you got to do some reading, because that Holy Spirit going to give you the scriptures that's going to prove it. Once you come to this point, man got to submit to a new rule, a new spirituality, and a new mentality. They want us to think that we are vicious savages in America, but they are vicious savages.
Believe that.
And we got to bring them back and lead them back on the path of God in righteousness. That's what Jesus came down and did. And he left us with the cross.
Yes, sir. Well, folks, that's it for episode 53, man. I pray that whoever listens to this, for those that do support the podcast, man, like I said earlier, go do your own research, man. Go and look into those things and learn for yourself. And for all my dads out there, man, I pray y'all continue to do what y'all do, man. You know, continue to be there for your children. Continue to love on your children. Continue to teach your children. Do what you got to do for your children, man. It's very important, man. It's imperative that we get it together as dads, you know, as being the heads of our homes, man.
You got to lead.
Gotta believe we got to lead that, man. We are the leaders, and I say that on every episode, man. You know, we gotta stand up and be who God created us to be, man. I just pray y'all continue to do that, man. Father's Day is coming up. I pray that you spend some time with your fam. If you live in the Gainesville area and you ain't gonna be doing too much, pull up on Pops, man. I might have a little time that day. I might pull up. I got a live event next Saturday at the Rock School where they're having a basketball camp that they're hosting for fathers and their children. So I will be there from I think it starts at 9:30 that morning. I think it's from 9:30 to 12:30, if I'm not mistaken. But I know it definitely starts at 9:30 in the morning. So if you haven't signed up, I think I've shared the link on my page, on my Facebook page. But yeah, man, register so you can come with your children. I will be there. I'll have all my stuff set up, man, and I'll be out there talking with dads. I'll be talking with some of the kids, and man, we just trying to do something in the community, man. Change the narrative. Like I always say, you know, this narrative that's went around for so long about black dads, man. I'm doing everything in my power to change that, and I just want to give back to my community, man. So that'll be this coming Saturday, which is, if I'm not mistaken, the 19th. And we will be at the Rock School at the basketball gym. And like I say, Pops got his Father's Day event on this coming Sunday, starting at 3 p.m. at his house right over by Howard Bishop in Metcalf Elementary. So if y'all got some time, man, pull up, man. Pull up and come hang out with him, man. You know, like I always say, everybody always judged, man. Go pull up, get to know him, man. Have a conversation with him, man. That's all. That's the stuff we need to be doing in our community,
and I want to tell you, this is how I would like for y'all to get to know me. I write letters. I get views, no comments. I'm not a mind reader. I don't know what you're talking about, or what you want, or what you want to hear. But if you don't agree, comment, please. I guarantee you know, it's not going to be like I am on Be Live on Deck. Because right now I'm trying to win you to God. Now, if you believe in the word, then that's the cooler. Y'all hear me? That's the cooler. All I want y'all to do is comment. You know, if it's something I said you don't understand, comment. In this way, we can come together and we can compromise and say the same thing, because I go by the scriptures. All right? I go by the scripture. And I hope you do too. I got a real good friend, and me and her be back and forth at times. And y'all need to read the conversation we be having. And she don't use the scripture, and I try to tell her. I said, where's your scriptures? I said, you got to show me in the scriptures for me to believe it. You know. And she's a sweet old lady. You know. We can disagree and still be friends.
Straight up.
And that's
Straight
all.
Up, man.
That's what we gonna be.
Straight up.
Just comment.
Yes, sir. Well, yeah, man. Hey, y'all, we gonna wrap it up right here, man. It's getting a little late in the night. I know my wife probably like where this man at, but hey, man, y'all listen, man. Y'all continue to stay tuned to the podcast. I appreciate all y'all, man, and we gonna continue to do what we do, man. Y'all can talk really out of here.